Practice. We all know it's fundamental, we all know it's important, and we all know that without it you can't really become as good as you want to be an MC. But let's be honest, we don't always feel motivated to practice, we don't always, you know, feel up to it, we don't always know what to practice, right? And if we did, if it was that easy, then we would all be doing it, right? And you wouldn't be watching this, right? So how do we make practice easy? How do we make it so that we want to do it, so that we get up and we improve in every time we practice, and we're not just wasting our time and putting it off, right? Well, we can do this in two ways. The first way that I would like to suggest is the Kaizen way. Kaizen. Now, Kaizen is a Japanese method that focuses on improving the smallest, even most trivial aspects of a certain thing, right? Instead of all the big jumps, the innovation, the big leaps that can often leave us burnt out and leave us confused and overwhelmed and procrastinating, it focuses on the smaller step. So consider this: instead of writing 32 bars every day, I want you to write 2 bars a day, right? Start with that. If that's too much for you, write 1 bar a day, but I want you to start with 2 bars a day, and do that for the first week. Then to the second week, increase that to 3 bars a day. Third week, 4. Fifth week, 5, and so on, right? Just keep writing an extra bars as we go on. But if that's too much adding on to you, then increase it every 2 weeks. But just start small like that. Instead of practicing your flow for 2 hours straight and spitting to a beat for 2 hours straight, practicing your freestyling for 40 minutes or some long amount of time, do 5 minutes a day at first, right? Instead of even practicing every day, do 3 to 4 days, right? Now you're thinking, what's the point of that? How am I going to improve? How is that going to make me a beast as an MC, right? So you might be thinking. But consider this, right? If you tried to write a whole track, a whole song in one practice session, and then you try to do that the next day, you try to do that, right? And you can't do it. And all of a sudden you start getting frustrated, you start getting stressed, you start getting angry, and you don't get it done, you're not improving, you're putting it off because it's the way it's making you feel. Tell me, what you're going to get out of that? Nothing, right? You're going to get nothing out of it. But if you just write 2 bars a day to begin with, or practice your flow for 5 minutes a day, and then keep on adding it on slowly but consistently adding on, consistently doing it, you will improve, trust me. And you will want to do it because your brain is no longer scared. Your brain will think, that's easy, I can do that, I can get up and I can get that done. That's what your brain's going to think. And therefore you won't be procrastinating, you won't be putting it off, and you get it done. And the more you add on, before you know it, you find that you're writing track after track, your flow's gotten better, and you're able to do it more and more. Now what's the second way? The second way is simply strategic practice. Now what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is, instead of just putting on an instrumental and practicing for 2 hours straight, just spit into the instrumental, practice a specific thing, right? Practice your transitioning, practice your wordplay, practice your flow, practice your freestyling, practice something specific. Don't just put on an instrumental and randomly spit, right? Practice something specific, target something, practice counting bars, right? When you do this, you improve at certain aspects, and then once you're able to put these aspects together, you find you're a beast of an MC, right? So put certain days, allocate certain days to a different section of practice. Monday you might do bar practice, Tuesday you might practice wordplay, Wednesday you might practice freestyling, stuff like that, right? So, and add that with the small step practice, right, with the Kaizen way. So 5 minutes practicing freestyling, right? Just write 1 bar of wordplay a day, right? Stuff like that. Strategic practice, practice something specific, right? And that way, with those 2 methods, starting it small, not overwhelming your brain to the point where you're scared of it and procrastinating it and putting it off, but doing something that makes your brain think, Yeah, I can do that. Even if you haven't got motivation that day, you can get up and do it. And strategic practice, practicing something specific, right? Something that you may be struggling with, something that you don't understand, something that scares you. And if it scares you, you can use the first method, the Kaiser method, to practice it, and it won't scare you. You'll be able to do it if you do it in little bits. And as you go doing this, what you find is that practice will become a habit, right? And two, you improve a lot quicker than you might think you will improve, right? You be a beast, you carry on doing it, and before you know it, you'll be at the level you want to be, right? So try those two things with practicing, right? That should make practice a heck of a lot easier for you, right? It should help you get it done, right? But that's it for me today. Thank you for the support. Thank you for watching it. It means a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.